Welcome to Creative Spirit Gathering. Grab your art journal because this is the place for exploring with creative media what's on your heart and your mind as we lean into how to stay centered no matter what. That is our theme throughout the year 2021. And we're moving through the 12 power system. This month, we are focused on love. So today we are talking about love. And we'll be working in mixed media. So this is a day to grab all the different things and just have fun with it, to play in your journal and just explore, exploring with art materials today. So it's really permission to play on the page with whatever you have on hand. You might notice a color theme going on here, and we'll talk about that as we're moving forward a little bit as well. So the song that we listened to this morning is called Love Is My Decision by Daniel Nahmod. And what I love about that, love, is that idea of love being a decision, right? It's a choice. We can always choose to lean into the power of love, just as we can choose to lean into all of these 12 powers that we've been talking about throughout the year so far. My cat just took my headset with her as she hopped off my lap. And so we have the ability, right, to move from whatever is going on in our lives, whatever the external circumstances are, whatever is going on, that might be causing some turbulence in our lives. We always have the ability to tune into these powers. And these are spiritual powers that we're talking about, faith and wisdom and love, that we can tune into these and sort of elevate ourselves so that we're approaching life from a slightly different perspective, from that perspective that we can stay centered in the knowing of our true nature in the midst of our human experience. So love is a choice. Love is a choice, and we always have the ability to lean into love. Love is, of course, an emotion, something that we describe as one of those feeling words. And there are many different feeling words that can go under the category of love, right? So love can be something that we feel, that we identify as an emotion. Love can also be an energy, right? It can be what we've been describing as that harmonizing energy, that energy that seeks to bring things together, sort of like a little love magnet, that's drawing things together. When we talk about, the law of mind action, or we talk about manifesting, or the law of attraction, what is really at work there is the power of love. Is us, sinking into our hearts and bringing those ideas to our minds that we want to bring forward, and we're sort of magnetizing them because love is harmony, and so it's seeking to be together. Love is also can be described as source, divine love, as the source of all that is, as a spiritual source that is the foundation of our being. So love is a choice, and we can choose to remember love as our divine source. We can choose to remember that harmonizing energy of love. And we can choose to lean in to love in our relationships and our experiences, and feeling that emotion fully in those experiences. We've been, of course, sharing our art journals and sharing our art journal experiences. And I have to let you know that when I first started doing my journals, I would often, take my human experiences onto the journal to process them. This is something that's coming up. What do I need? Or just dumping it, on the page, whatever it was. Love that word, brain dump, just onto the page. And what came back to me as that answer, no matter what it seemed like I was throwing on the page, the answer that seemed to be coming back to me from that divine wisdom within was love. That the answer was to remember that my source is love and that I am love. And when I could lean into that awareness, even on my journal, for a 30-minute stretch, it was like there was a sense of peace that would wash over whatever that experience was. And so I've learned for myself that now when things come up, when I'm in times of transition and I'm not sure, what to do about it or where things are going to go. Kitty is really loving on the love page here. When I'm not sure about how to resolve something, I take it to my journal. And I still to this day will receive answers. And it's not always just telling me, well, love is the answer, love is the answer. But when I lean into love, when I approach the journal and I approach the situation from that sense of infusing it with love, then the answers present themselves. So this past week, I went into my journal to explore all of these transitions that are happening in my life right now. Some, just as we're thinking on, more stuff is opening up again. And so for myself and my team at Unity Arts Ministry, we're looking at what does that look like? When are we reopening the studio? What does that look like? So sort of a transition with work. My family and I are also looking at buying a new house and moving. So that's like a huge transition. We are staying in the area. Those of you who are local, don't freak out. We're still going to be here. We just want a little more space and land so I can get out and garden. And so I took all of these things that were coming up in my life and I started just journaling about them on the page. And then I got out my paints and I started painting. And then I got out all the collage material and started decorating. And these butterflies showed up for me. They were from wrapping paper for my birthday. And I realized they were different colors. And so I intentionally cut out pink for love, yellow, who remembers what power is yellow, is wisdom, and faith is blue. And so for myself, as I was moving through this journal process, right, I took all of these ideas that are in transition and then looked at how is love, faith, and wisdom playing out in this. And by the end of the experience, again, I don't know yet, where we're moving or what I'm doing with the studio, but there was this sense of peace that it's all going to work out, exactly as it should and in divine right timing. And I know that as you lean into your journal process today with whatever is on your heart, whatever's coming up that is seeking to be infused with love, that same sense of peace can be found when we allow ourselves to lean into love. So when we lean into love as sort of that power to help us navigate life, it can, bring this greater sense of harmony and peace, even in the midst of the chaos. And as I said, it might be like a 30-minute chunk. And then, the next day you're doing your meditation and bring these ideas back to you. Because when we lean into love, when we approach things from that perspective, there is this sense of peace that can come with that. When we approach the same situations, right? If I were to look at buying a house, right? If I were to look at that from the perspective of fear instead of love, the experience is completely different. In fact, I've had those moments, right now, if anyone's following the real estate market, everybody is saying, right? The realtors are saying, oh, this is not a buyer's market. This is a seller's market. Things are going so fast and you're going to have to be competitive and you're going to have to do this and this. That, when I hear it, right, it's that space of fear. And it makes me think there's limited amount. There's not enough. I'm going to have to fight for this. And like for 2 seconds, my mind will go there and my body will feel tight and it's not comfortable. I don't like it. Have you been in those situations, right? It's like something comes up and that fear jumps in and tries to take control of the situation and doesn't feel so good. When that is coming forward, it feels like a place coming at it from a place of lack. And so when I notice that, I try to breathe through that and just go, I hear you. I hear that voice and I can identify it as fear. And that's not how I want to operate. That's not how I want to approach this situation. And so I can see it fast enough now, right? After years of practice and doing this, I can see it enough to step back and go, okay, what would this look like if I were to explore it from the highest potential? What is the greatest good that could unfold in this? And so I keep going back to my journal and like journaling out, what does the perfect house look like? What does the yard look like? What does it feel like to be gardening in this new space? And so shifting that energy from that fear of there's not enough to that love potential, right? Moving into that power of imagination. What is possible? How do I see this unfolding? And we can do this with anything in our lives, any transition that's coming up, whether it's, changing a job, moving through, all that has come up this past year, moving back into, stepping into community again. What does that feel like? To leave the house and go to a party. What does that even feel like? When I say that is like your initial response right now, fear. Oh my gosh, like walking into a room of 30 people in a party? Or is it love? Is it excitement? Is it possibility? And we might have relationships in our lives that are calling for healing, for transformation, and how we interact with somebody. And love can override fear when we allow ourselves to keep moving back to this power and seeing the guidance that it has to offer us. Sometimes there's some forgiveness work that needs to happen here as well, right? Sometimes when we've been in that fear state for so long, we need to work through, forgiveness for ourselves, forgiveness for others, before we can really feel that leaning into love. So notice for yourself, as you're exploring in your journal today, something that is on your heart that is up for transformation, that is up for healing, that is up for growth. And see, when you lean into that, infusing it with love, are there steps that need to be taken? Is there some work that needs to be done to release something that you're holding on to really fully accept it with love? So today, I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose love, with some situation in your life that is up for healing and transformation. And you're going to infuse that idea with love in your journal experience. And as I said, I did this process myself. Now, who can guess what is the color, the 12 powers color for love? Go ahead and type it into the chat. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of quick answers here. Dun, dun, dun. Give yourself a gold star. It is pink. So the color we will be exploring with today is pink. Now, for some, you might have a lot of pink materials in your house. You might have ribbons and doilies and butterflies, who knows what, stickers, right? I have little stickers on mine too. For others, we might realize, wow, I am lacking in pink art materials because for whatever reason, maybe it's not a color that we're naturally drawn to or something that we have a lot of on hand. So just be aware, notice what you have. You can use things from your recycling bin for this. You can, again, buttons and baubles and glitter, whatever is calling to you today as a way of exploring the process. I'm going to go ahead and just share with you a couple of photos that I took in process so you can see a little bit of what this looked like along the way. So for supplies, your art journal, a pen for writing, and mixed media materials of your choice. We paint, craft papers, ribbon stickers, you name it, you can put it on there. Remember last month I put lentils on mine, so anything goes. So I happen to have a pink gel pen. So I used the pink pen as I was writing through my ideas, just messy, quick writing. And then I added in yellow because I wanted to bring in divine wisdom in with that sense of divine love. So yellow watercolors and then some pink, which was my red watercolor watered down to add some pink onto the page as well. And then the fun stuff, right? All of the mixed media stuff. So this is the part in the process itself. It's not about, how pretty does it look, but it's just about getting that playful energy with the creative materials so you can really sink into the process. I had already written down what was on my mind in my head using the writing. And so now I'm just moving into that playful aspect. And as I was doing so, that's when I felt that really strong connection with that inner sense of peace and just knowing and trusting that all of these ideas are unfolding, in the right and perfect way. So I used a stencil with some acrylic paint. You'll see those feathers in there. Torn tissue paper, ribbons, stickers, my wrapping paper. So lots of fun just playing around with things on the page. And I invite you to do the same. Just play around, explore, and see what comes forward for you. So now's the time for us to move into our meditation before exploring on the page. So take a moment to get your body comfortable. Sit up straight or lay down, however that's comfortable for you right now. And take a couple of deep breaths here. Just allowing the breath to center you. And continuing to breathe. Just letting that inhale and exhale flow naturally. I invite you to begin to move your awareness within. Perhaps you want to put your hands over your heart and breathe into the heart space. Cleansing breath, centering breath, relaxing breath. And as we breathe into the heart, I invite you to think for a moment. What in your life is up for healing, for transformation, for growth? There may be a long list that comes to mind or something quickly comes forward as one thing to focus on. Maybe nothing comes to mind yet, and that's okay too. Trust your own process, your own journey. If something did come to mind, I invite you just to bring the awareness of it into your heart space. As we continue to breathe and rest for a moment of silence here. Breathing in and out. We rest together in divine love. And on your next breath, begin to bring our awareness back to this moment in time. We bring with us this feeling, this peace of divine love. Knowing that this is the center of our being. Divine love is who we are. And we explore now in our journals with the energy and the intention of divine love what is on our hearts. And so it is. Enjoy your journal process. Creative Spirit Gathering is made possible by the donations of sponsors and donors like yourself. So we thank you in advance for taking the time to contribute to our program. You can give online at unityartsministry.org. And a special thank you to our sponsors and grant supporters and those who have signed up for our monthly giving program. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week. Bye.